Hello, I'm Roberto, and we are learning Rust. Like every day, every time. Here with us we have,
Luciano, hello everyone.
okay, if you don't know this channel, in this channel we talk about Rust and technologies. You can find recordings of the previous streams on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we stream every day on Monday. No, not every day, every Monday. We don't stream every day. We stream every
Unfortunately,
Monday.
yes,
Unfortunately, we have jobs, guys. 6 p.m. Dublin time on Twitch. Today we are going to go on from where we left the last time. We are trying to do this Twitch bot to connect to a game that we will develop, and we will overlay that with OBS on top of our streamings. So we are still at the level of the library that is connecting with the Twitch chat. And today, what we want to do, we want to make the library that now is written like a simple program. We want to make it a real library.
Yeah, that could be a plan.
Okay, so our job today, our mission, if we decide to accept it, is to make this piece of code a library with an interface that can be handy for receiving messages and sending messages. The tricky part is that everything is asynchronous. I mean, anybody can write anything in any moment in the chat, and we need to get the messages in that moment. And in the meantime, the program that will include the library should be notified of these events that can come in any moment, and it should not wait for them on poll for them or any kind of this or stuff like this. So we need to expose an interface that makes us this message available in an asynchronous fashion. Also, it would be nice if we can send messages in any moment on the Twitch channel. But this is simpler. I mean, you get an event, you process the event, you give out a response. So that is probably the simplest part of it. You could do that with callbacks if this was another language, but I don't know what is the more proper way to do that in Rust.
It might be possible to do callbacks. Like, to be honest, we don't really have an actual implementation plan for today. I think we'll need to do a little bit of research to try to figure out effectively what we want to do. Ideally is to have some kind of event system where if we were building a client side in Bevy, maybe you create like its own system that somehow listen for these events, and then based on events it is going to be able to spawn or despawn certain entities.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's maybe review the code and then let's start to do some research.
Let's start from reviewing the code. So you share your screen.
So I share my screen. Maybe I'll need to make it a little bit bigger. And basically we have a main, and this main, what it does, takes the Twitch token, which is just for authentication from an environment variable. It builds a client, and this is a WebSocket client because Twitch protocol is based on WebSockets. We create a stream, and then this is using Tokyo, so async stuff. And then there is a little bit of a dance because this is kind of implemented the IRC protocol on WebSockets with some additions. So you can request certain capabilities. For instance, here we want to read not just the messages, but per every user, we also want to read tags, which is like metadata that basically tells you, I don't know, the user, what kind of level is the user, if they use a specific color in the chat, that kind of stuff. And then you do kind of a login, passing your own token. And then at this point, you need to send your own nickname. And at this point, you are authenticated.
Yeah, you join the channel.
You join the channel. And
it is named as the Twitch channel, so there is a one-to-one mapping there.
And at this point, it's an async iterator. So you do...
Yeah, you have the main loop on top of the WebSocket channel. And the main loop on the WebSocket channel can get the opcode there in that match in 937. You can get text. You can get a binary, I think, but we are not doing anything with it. If you scroll What were we getting on the text? No, there is a ping. If you scroll a little
So
bit.
there is a text, there is a ping, and there is a close, and there is a pong.
And a binary. But for Pong and binary, we do nothing because fine. With ping, we have to answer something. Otherwise, the WebSocket connection is going down because it detects that we are dead if we don't send something back.
Wait a second. I think we need to clarify one thing, that the top level of the loop here is the WebSocket envelope, while what we get inside the text is the Twitch message. So it's kind of, it could be another set of types of messages. So that's why we have two different pings.
Is the IRC protocol inside the WebSocket protocol. Both of them happen to have a ping.
Exactly. Which I don't know if it's obvious for people, but I think it's worth mentioning it.
Yeah, the outside ping, the one below, is for the WebSocket. The inside ping is for IRC, because after two ping that you don't answer, Twitch is cutting you out and closing the connection. So you have a bunch of boilerplate to keep the connection up. Plus, there you can answer to some IRC messages. At the moment, we just take the join one and we react inside this library to that event saying hi in line 56 to
by the way,
guy
this
that joined.
parse message is something we built last time, well, in the last streams, to take whatever is the raw string we were getting from Twitch and convert it into a structured message with all the metadata related to it. Because IRC is just a text-based protocol, so we're basically parsing every line from the text-based protocol and building objects that we can work with.
Yeah, but to provide a good user experience to who will use this library, we should handle the ping inside the library.
Yeah, and totally
that join that now we handle there should not be here.
Or if we want to pose it as an event, but yeah, it needs to be like an event that if you want to listen to, you can. Otherwise, you ignore it.
You should be able to subscribe to the join event if you want to subscribe. Like you should be able to subscribe to the private MSG event that is basically the single message flowing into IRC. Oh, there is Tommaso. Hello.
Hey, hello, Tommaso. So, okay, so I guess we have two options there. One we were discussing before starting the chat is to create an async channel. So basically that kind of channel where you can have subscribers and then you push all the messages there. And then it's not going to be too different from this one, but we can abstract things like the ping and then just leave the join, the message, and I think there is a close message, which is basically when somebody... No, wait. We also have a message when somebody leaves, right?
Yeah, there is a message when somebody leaves the channel. But the joining and the leaving of the channel is not super reliable in this IRC protocol, because sometimes it tells you that somebody joined that was already in the channel. So I don't know if there is some kind of timeout, or if every now and then it gives you the list of everybody anyway. I mean, every now and then it gives you the list of all the people in the channel, because yes. But it's not that really joining in that moment. It's just that, is a refresh of the current connected people.
Yeah, and the other thing is that we can also send messages, as we were saying. So that can be another capability. So ideally, you will create a client.
And there we can create a better interface. Now the API, there we are sending priv MSG, sharp, this and that. We should provide an API that is send message, channel message, or not even with the channel. At the initialization point of the library, you say, okay, this library will work on the channel called Loge. Done.
Oh yeah, I guess if we want to just quickly draft something here, we can move it to another module in a second, but we probably have something like struct client, and this client will need to have a few different properties. One is definitely going to be channel, and for now, let's just say string. Another one is going to be the nickname of the bot, string. The other one is going to be the...
We keep the stream in this struct as a private.
Yeah, we need to keep the WebSocket stream, which is, I don't know what kind
WS
of...
stream of
Look
type.
at that, what it is.
Oh my god, of type a lot.
Framed box din async network stream send sync unpin message codecs. Okay.
Can't you copy the type? No.
I
Too
guess I
easy.
could. I'm trying to figure out if there is an easier way to get that.
It's in line 19. We see the.
Yeah, but
Also, it
it's...
must be mutable, by the way.
Okay, cool. Let's copy all
No,
of
you can't
this.
copy. No, too easy.
Can we? We should be able to copy. There we go. Now this is gonna be fun. So let's say
this must be mutable, but you declare mutable all the structure or just the field?
Yeah, we can declare mutable the client, I guess, later. Let's see.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm sure Thomas is gonna have lots of suggestions. So let's say socket, for lack of better naming. Now this is gonna complain, of course.
Tommaso was saying to open the async connect method to see if there is any type declared in that async connect in line 19.
Thomas is saying first if we are in a hurry to finish this project because Advent of Code is coming. Not necessarily. I don't know if we want to do Advent of Code again. We'll probably do it on our own. I don't know if we will stream it, I guess.
I will do Advent of Code for sure. I just don't know if we will stream it. But even if we stream it always in January. We never stream live while Advent of Code is out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other suggestion is actually pretty good, saying if you open async connect, is there any type alias there? No. Well, there is an async client there. So maybe we can just use a generic async client for now.
Of type T. So
yeah, let's do that for now, just for simplicity.
An async client of type T, and we declare client
T and client T. Now this is probably gonna have boundaries of some kind, does it? It doesn't have. Oh, it's an alias of framed S message codec. Okay, whatever. So that's another one. And then what else do we expect we need?
Do we want to have channels? Do we want to have a list of callbacks to call? How do we want to implement this with channels, with callbacks? What do you think is better?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have a preference. We can check unless we have suggestion here. So Thomas is saying you cannot store WS stream inside the client structure. The ownership is kept by the while loop. Yes, but we want to abstract the client loop, that while loop. So we want to create some kind of function for this client where we say something like start, and that's going to internally consume the stream. And then somehow we want to have hooks that allow us to basically say, oh, there is a new user, a user left, there is a new message, something like that. So I know that you can use closures there. So maybe what we could do is something like on MSG, and that's
dynamic function mutable of the message. Why mutable? Can't we just call a function? Why should be mutable?
Good question. I don't know what Copilot is thinking.
That we want to change the message No, we don't want to change the message.
But
And
it
we
could
want
be
to send
FN, right? That.
and MSG. What is MSG? Because I don't remember.
MSG is our own message.
Okay, it's our own message, cool. But we don't want to send all possible messages, or we want to
Exactly.
send all possible messages to the subscribers.
No, because for instance we want to abstract the ping, so we'll probably
We
need to
don't
do.
want to send a ping.
Let's review what we have here.
Is an enum. No, well, let's leave MSG as a type, but we will never send a MSG ping. We will send MSG join and MSG private message, but probably also only private message. I don't care about join.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this should be something that when somebody registers the callback is defining. We can simplify for now and just hard code which are the messages that we send out. Mute function mean change the context, not the parameter.
Okay, so probably that's more flexible for the user.
But well, anyway, let's start with not mutable, and if the compiler tell us that should be mutable, we'll make it mutable.
Yeah, probably here what we need to do though is another thing. We need to do basically what we need to do is like we don't want to expose the entire enum. Maybe we want to expose some of this information. So another way of doing this will be that we create pub priv msg, and it contains all of this stuff. Well, it needs to be a, right? Pub
What
struct.
is this?
And then here what we say is basically this contains a priv msg a. If that makes sense. It needs to implement the bug, yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff, probably.
Let's put everything. Now this is gonna break all of our tests, but you get the point, right? That
so now in line 19 we can remove that pub and make it private.
In line 19, no, it's not this the point. It's more that if we cannot expose just one variant of the enum. Like for instance, we want to hide the ping but show the private message, right? But this is kind of internal. We don't really.
No, I was thinking that you were hiding all the message at this point, but I got what you are trying to do. Yeah.
Okay, so here let's quickly fix the tests there, because now what we are doing here is
.0. We have to add a .0 round.
Here we need to say priv message, and that should do it. And then in the test we need to say priv message, and that should do it. So now basically in our
we
interface here we can say that this is priv message.
Okay, cool.
Which probably we'll need to import. Okay, and now so we wanted to say fn mute as Tommaso suggested.
Yeah, just try and
on priv message, that could be
better name. Yes.
The other one is on join, right?
And let's start with those two and
on part.
Those three. Okay, but then we have
also,
to do the same. With
do they need to be optional? Because maybe
I was thinking of an array of them on a list of them, a vector of them.
Good point.
Because you can have multiple. I mean, probably for our use, we will only have one.
But and if you do a vector, you probably don't need a box, I imagine, because it's already heap allocated, or not? No, you still need to box them.
because the idea is that being a library, you can provide the ability of more than only one very complex type use. Consider.
Oh yeah, it wants to use an alias basically.
Well,
So we could do something
one
like
day
type
callback function.
read message listeners
But we don't have to do
or listener, I guess.
In 16 and 17, do we call with a string because we only pass the name of who joined and left? What was your idea?
On line 16.
Yeah, those two lines. That is a function mute of string. Do you want to pass only the name of the?
Actually, I'm not sure. Let's see.
What do we have inside?
Inside the parser, what do we do with join? We have nick, canonical nick, so we probably need to do the same thing.
Well, the channel no, because the client only works on top of one channel from how we are designing it. But nick and canonical nick, yes, we could answer both of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or just the nick without the canonical nick. I mean, leave a string for now. I think is enough.
Should we do struct user?
Okay, yes.
And we do all of this stuff, basically. The channel, I'm just going to leave it now for simplicity. But yeah, you're right. We can probably remove it. It's not the end of the world because it's going to be a reference. So it's not going to really allocate a lot. But here, what we need to do now is just say join user A.
Yeah.
And this is going to complain again because we need to derive, but we'll do that in a second.
And here I play the devil advocate again. And you see that the first, those three members are the same that are in private message, only that private message has some more. So private message can contain a user.
Oh yeah, that could be a user.
Messages and tags. No, channel is the fourth line. You have to move channel one line.
So let's actually do that. I like it.
So this is a user. So there will be a user of type user. And remove the channel. And at this point, yes, that's it. This breaks a lot of our tests. Yes.
But we should be able to easily fix it. So let's start with this one. So this is a private message where we have user
colon user.
There you go.
And remove
message. Canonical nick. Well, let's move all of this.
Yeah. And also channel. You need a comma in line
somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, we need to change our code first because this one is going to do a user. There we go. Remove all of this and this. That makes it happy. And now the join. Again, here we need to do a user.
Yeah, Tommaso is saying stuff in the chat, but I lost him.
Sorry for ignoring you, Tommaso. I'll get to you in a second.
We are finishing this, then we are trying to understand what you are suggesting. Sorry, it was a long day at work today. So
we might be doing a lot of stupid things, yes. Here, again, we need to do a user. And move all of that.
It's just naming. You don't want us to do a reference to a user instead of a user. I was thinking Tommaso was suggesting of not using an instance of an object, but a reference to an instance of an object. But no, let's go on cloning. I like allocating memory.
And they are all references anyway, I think.
Yeah, I paid for my memory, so I want to use it.
Okay, what are we doing wrong here? What did I do wrong? Variant parsed message has no field name user. What did I call it?
Private message is not called. You didn't call it user. No, you have to add a private message inside the private message. You have to encapsulate with a how it's called.
Oh
the
yeah, we
type
never
that you
fixed this
created.
one. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
how it's called the
This was
type
broken
that you.
since before.
Yeah, you have to encapsulate.
Okay.
Yes, you're missing a
And
level of
now
encapsulation.
we copy all of this crap inside of it. Do the magic. Okay. And cool. Did we fix everything? No, there is broken stuff at the top. Is there? Yes, there. Message part. Now we need to do user of that. And here we need to do user of all of that.
Okay, no, Tommaso was saying that the channel doesn't belong in the user. Yes, it's true. We want to get rid of it, but for now, we leave it there. It was for simplicity. I mean, the client will work only on one channel for how we are designing it. Because at the init stage, we will say, work on this channel, and we will give one channel to work on. This is not multi-channel. This will not be multi-channel. This will be single channel.
Yes, and the only reason why for now we are keeping it
is because we are lazy.
We are lazy, for one, but also because so we receive this entire string, something like this, right? And everything we create is a reference into the string. So it's a slice of the string, if you want to call it like that. So it's not really very expensive. It's a bit redundant.
No, I was just saying that semantically the channel doesn't belong to a user. Just a semantic.
Unless you consider this user in this channel, but yeah, it's kind of
this user in this channel is identified by free. Yes,
but it's a bit weird. I agree.
But it can be in other channels, and you can message it directly. But we are not doing all those fancy stuff.
So now we can use user there and there, right?
Yes.
And we can do the same. I guess this one can be the same.
Yeah, it's a join parting listener.
Join or part listener.
And you have to change to user line 10. You have to change to user.
And this needs to be user, yes.
Yes.
So now we have a client, and I guess we can start to implement all the stuff. So we can implement, let's implement a new first.
Oh yeah, why init new?
Client, so we need to implement T for client T, and we say fn new. And new, what do we need? We need a channel. Oh yeah, we also need the secret. That's one thing we need. Is it a secret password? Token. What do they call it? Token.
It's called the Twitch token. And then where do we use the Twitch token?
Yeah, let's call it Twitch token. So here what we want is a channel.
The nickname for the bot, that is a string. The nickname for the bot, that again is a string.
The nickname for the bot, so nick, which is a string, and Twitch token.
Yeah.
Which is a string. Now, you might argue that we don't need to use strings here. We can use something more generic, so people can also create an instance with a reference. But for now, let's keep it simple. Now, this is where the problem starts. Because
we want to initialize our Twitch stuff. That if
so
how do we do that?
Probably for now we can do this and make it lazy, right? And now we start with an on, and then when you do an init, or when you do like a start or a connect, whatever we want to call it, it's where we do all the magic.
Why you don't want to create this at the creation time? There is any reason?
Because I am imagining that you might initialize the instance, attach a few callbacks, and then
then connect. Okay.
Or you might want to defer when you create the client from when you connect. I don't know if it's a good idea.
Okay, no, I agree. Let's go with that. But at this point, we need a function connect
Yes.
init start.
Which
Start.
is now, is this gonna be async? Ooh, he is thinking it's gonna be async. Yes.
Oh God, what is writing?
Okay,
Let's see.
sounds reasonable because I think it's
But
taking our code from
probably is
below.
just copy and pasting what we wrote down. So
Yes, no, I think it is. Yeah, what we wrote before. We need to change a few things. We need to make sure we use. Oh, it's actually fixing all the stuff like self Twitch token rather than using the environment variable. Bless you.
sorry.
Bless you. Is it fixing everything? Let's double check everything.
Yeah, but that lodge bot is hard coded. We have to use the parameters.
Can you split, right? Okay, I want to compare with this guy. Sorry, I'll make it a little bit smaller for a second.
Capabilities requirement.
So this is our main. So Twitch token, here we are taking from an environment variable. Now we're going to have it as part of the instance. So that doesn't matter. Builder is URL.
Tommaso also say that is a good way to have our connect as outside of the new, because a new async is strange.
Yes, that's fair. So builder is there, WS stream is there, and this WS stream is effectively our self. So here we could do self dot.
By is assigning it. No, you
Oh yeah,
assign
is
that
it doing
later.
it below? Yeah, is it doing it below there?
Yeah, it's calling it socket, but it's not called socket. We don't have a socket. No, it's called socket. We call it socket.
I call it
Wow.
socket. Maybe we should call it stream. Should we call it stream or async client? I don't know.
I'll leave it socket for now. We can do a multi replace later. That's gone. Sorry for distracting you.
Yeah, and it doesn't like it in terms of type. We'll get to that in a second. So capabilities looks quite standard. WStream send is sending just a capability, so that's the same. So here is passing OAuth self Twitch token, so that's correct. The nickname is passing self nick rather than the hard coded one.
Mm-hmm.
And here join is passing
The
channel.
Okay.
So it seems all good. So I'm gonna close this one. Zoom
Then he's
again.
complaining about
This WS stream is not a frame T. What? This type parameter arguments to this enum variant are incorrect. The type constructor contains Tokyo util coded framed blah blah blah. Jesus. View problem. Why did it find that it's not able to infer that T? Is that the problem? Or T cannot be a box? Ooh, we got a challenge here to do. We need to drink water.
what? I have water.
Let's drink.
What is this? Okay. What is the second parameter in the found struct?
In this framed?
Framed want a T and an underline. What we provided.
Here is an underscore. So I think the second one is the codec part.
So all of that can't be resolved to a T?
I wonder if it's because we are using din and therefore we are kind of mixing the dynamic dispatch with generics, like monomorphization, if that's the issue.
So how do we declare that we contain that client? So how should we change the declaration of socket in our struct? What is, try to remove the type and see if Copilot suggests you something. I know that this is lazy programming, but if you remove that,
Copilot driven development. So if we
yeah,
remove this T, is that what you're saying?
yeah, all the line at all. I mean, just socket colon is suggesting you something. No,
Thank you,
suggesting you
Copilot.
exactly the same.
Because it's, yeah, the only context is what we said before, I guess. Well, we can be super explicit here and say box of tin.
So, and in this way is understanding.
Here it was, well, let me import this one. I don't think that's still gonna be enough. Ooh, is it enough? I think network stream plus send. Okay,
So this
this
was enough to fix it.
seems happy. No,
But
well,
now at
now
this
we have
point,
a
the
T that we
client,
don't need anymore. Yes,
yeah, client
and we
T is
can get
not
rid of this.
a bunch of T. We are less generic, so we can't attach our client to something that is not a WebSocket. I did that WebSocket, but I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't fully understand this error, but I suspect that it's because we were mixing something that expects a DIN with a generic. And I think
Okay.
my understanding of Rust is that when you use a generic, a compile time Rust is going to see all your instances, it's going to create specific types.
Yeah, but if it's dynamic, how can he know at compile time all of them?
Exactly. So when it's dynamic, they just do dynamic dispatch with a vtable. So it's like we are mixing two paradigms that I don't think can be easily mixed.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, so what's next there? So now we have a client that can take all of this information and can connect. Now, the next step is to call some kind of start or consume or whatever.
Can we add the function to add the callbacks to those three
Yes, let's
vectors?
do that. So let's do fn add, what did we call them? Message, priv message listener.
On the priv message.
Ooh, look at that.
Add the priv message. Okay, we just do a push. We don't remove
Cool.
ever.
Add join listener. Add part listener.
Okay, here if we would like really to be super fancy, that would be a hash map with UUID. When you add, you get back the UUID, so you can remove the listener from the list later. We are not fancy. If you want to remove the listener, you destroy the object, you recreate the object, and you retry. Like real man.
That's fair. We can refactor that later. So
Okay,
the
now,
next step is fn.
the start you were talking about.
Actually, it's probably going to be async, right?
I mean, if I like an old developer, I would just spawn a thread and then leave the thread run and go away. I don't know in Rust what is the best way of doing the same.
But
So
because it's
we want
async, I think you wouldn't do that here. You do that in the context where you use the library.
Okay, so
You
when you
decide.
call this async, is like in Python when you do async IO create task and you pass a future to the create task. In Rust, there will be something similar, probably.
You can decide to spawn that future that you receive from calling this async method into a separate thread or in the current thread if you have an async thread. If you have an async context, let's call it this way. Okay, so let's call this run, which
takes the stream out of itself as mutable. Then it does the loop. Why
now,
the top
why
code?
doesn't like that? Binary, close, ping are not covered. Okay, it didn't generate everything. It was lazy. Let's copy everything from
let's
our...
copy and paste our code that
from there, yeah. Let's do like old style coding, old style copy paste.
Yeah, not code pilot copy and paste.
So let's kill all of this. Boom. Now we need to change a few things because, okay, this stream is the same. Message join, why doesn't like it? Missing. Oh yeah, because we did change this. So now
We
join.
changed the on join.
Now
And
join
should
is a
be,
user.
yeah.
And here what we do is, what the hell did you do there? We have a user and we can say
Here we have to call all the callbacks in the on join vector. We have to call all of them with the user parameter.
Yes, I was just restoring the previous code and I'm not convinced why. It's not. Why it doesn't like that? Channel or user? Oh, because they are private. Okay, fair enough. And I think that makes sense now. Okay, so now, yeah, we need to do exactly what you just said. So now we need to call every single callback for that particular. So here what we want to do is basically saying for listener in mute self on join. Listener user clone. Yes.
Why mutable?
Because it's an FN mute, I guess.
Now, are we mutating something here?
I don't think so. Let's see what happens if we remove that. Okay, we guess, yeah, we didn't need to be mutable. Okay, here we don't want to do this.
But if you want for the bug for now to leave it there.
Let's comment it out.
Now, on message part, we have to do the same.
I guess another thing we'll need to do is to send a message, to also have a method to send a message. But...
Yes, but we can do that. Ooh, interesting. This run will run, and it borrowed the WebSocket as mutable. If we want to send a message, the send message, how is going to borrow the client?
Right. I'm wondering if these listeners need to receive also a reference to the channel
to be able to send the message. So they will send a message not through our client, but themselves.
Yeah, which is a bit weird as well, right?
I mean, in the main program, there will be this object new, this object run, and then there will be callbacks that can do this. No, but it's better because those are closures. So the closures probably can have this object not in their scope. So passing ourselves, not just the user, but also ourselves is good.
Okay, I think it might be worth starting to do all of this stuff. So let's clean up and let's start to do all this logic that we are describing. So let's say
the opcode for the WebSocket are fine. Don't touch them.
Yes, I don't know if we should remove this print, or let's leave them for now. We can remove them later. And so here what we want to do is basically the Twitch token, we need it. Then we want to do a client.
Our main will be let client equal the client.
So client new. And we need to pass all of this stuff.
Logbot and Twitch token, yes.
Then we do a connect, a wait.
Because we wait for the connect to be done.
And then we need to start adding the
callbacks.
Let's start to add a callback. So now we do client add private message listener, right? And this private message listener can be, here we have an M, which is a message. And what we want to do is to just say, why is doing an if let? No, I just want the printer line. That.
DBG.
Is that gonna work? Doesn't complain, which is interesting.
Okay, now we have to call the run.
And now we need to call the run client.
Yeah, but we don't just have to call the run. We have to say to do what you said before.
Await.
You call waiting. Okay.
For now, we just await, which means we're not going to be able to do anything else because the whole program is going to be stuck there processing messages.
Yeah, but if you program all your callbacks, this is not the final game. This is just a
So let's clean up all this crap which we moved in the other function, and now we have exiting main loop. And okay, cool. What are we missing? Why is it complaining there? Expected a curly brace. We broke something.
Where
did we miss a curly brace?
Above, in the function above main.
Could be. We missed one somewhere. There. Ooh.
No.
Okay, now it's it doesn't like something that we are returning. Oh yeah, because we never return here. That's the problem. Here we need to wait, but isn't this an explicit? Because we are returning a result.
But here we are never supposed to return. But we can return if it gets closed. If the WebSocket is closed, we return from this loop. So just return
but it doesn't
an
need to
okay,
return anything.
No, or return nothing or an okay.
Okay, wait. I think this is from a return perspective is okay. Just saying this doesn't return, basically. When it finishes, it finishes, which is like saying this, pretty much.
Okay.
Now
it's not happy about the next.
The method next exists for a mutable reference of that. But its trait bounds were not satisfied. The following trait bounds were not satisfied.
You have to add the plus whatever when we declare socket.
Now where it is? Is it here?
Inside the DIN. It was the DIN.
Or inside the DIN?
Yeah, inside the box on the side of DIN.
Wait, let me see.
Where send sync there. And pin. Yeah. Send sync and pin.
So inside here is plus send plus sync plus
and pin.
And I think there might be something else. There might be like a static somewhere or not. What's here?
No. Let's see.
No. Okay. Is it happy now? Next now is working. Okay, now this is what I expected. That is not happy with disclosure because why? Parse the private message plus static.
Your closure is static. Is not of.
I think we need to do box.
Can't you declare the callbacks as static?
Can we do this? Oops, sorry. Can we declare the callback as static?
I mean, they are created at compile time. They
oh, no, wait. I'm also using here the wrong one. Private message. That's what it needs to be. So that's maybe it. Do we need to use the box now? I think so, but let's try to remove it. And it complains. Okay, we need to use the box and pass the closure in there. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, makes sense. That now match. But the question is, the closure is created at compile time, so it's a static lifetime in theory. It's a piece of code that will always exist if the program is running. So doesn't
I'm
make
not
sense.
sure about that because I might
Uh,
deallocate the closure when the scope is over.
Okay, but well, fine. Box is fine. And why that you are not awaiting that await? No, no. It is,
Oh yeah, so this is so basically we cannot do the question mark. I think that's the problem. Because here we don't really have an error that implements
some of the error that could be thrown.
whatever error is thrown here
Yeah, should be thrown also
should
from
be
this function.
translatable to this one, which is probably not because this is a
Yeah,
unit type.
because. Okay, so if we run this one, what is happening?
Are you ready?
No, but okay.
Okay, so let's try cargo run. Exploded
Boom.
like a maniac. So where is it exploding? In the other file?
Because you should now you were returning a result because you have question marks. You know, when you remove the type up there, the run function should return a result because it has question marks in it.
Does it have question marks?
Oh yeah,
Yes, it
line
does.
90, for example.
Okay, so it should return a result, you're right.
And then at the end of it, you return an okay, open, closed, open, closed.
Okay, let's try to, probably still gonna complain, but at the end we just return an okay, yes.
Because if we arrive there, is okay. If some of the question marks above explodes, oops.
Okay, listener
Now
clone.
listener.
Cannot borrow listener as mutable behind a shared reference.
Sorry. Cannot borrow as mutable. I don't want it as mutable. I just want it.
I think this is the problem why here I was looking for a mute.
Aside that for some reason I can't tell apart what is your code and what is the suggestion of typing from Rust Analyzer.
This is my code.
Okay. Why is not white? It's fine. Okay, so it must be mutable.
I think why. Because when we call listener, there is this fn mute. Is it?
Fine. I don't know if it's because if when you call a function, you have to change the stack to come back. Is the stack that is the call stack that is mutable at that point? Could be.
Probably.
Okay. Anyway, now is running or we still have errors?
There is something there. So the client needs to be mutable. I imagine. And now what are you complaining about there? The result must be used. So now we can do the question mark. Okay. Now let's try again. Load and run. Ooh, it's doing stuff.
So do you want me to try to exit and join again to see if... no, to send a message, sorry.
Yeah, let's send a message.
Yeah,
we
one
got
is
the
mine.
Message.
Yeah, mine was hello, yours was Pippo because it's the universal variable name in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's working. It called the function, and we have the event.
Okay, so let's keep this one running, and just before we wrap up, what we can quickly do is to try.
Can we try
the send message? That's what I want to try because I think
okay. So is an async function send message?
So let's do the send message here. So what we want to do is basically async fn send msg, right? And
yes. Self-mutable, a string.
Could work.
Yes, I'm worried about that socket as mutable unwrap, because when do we call this? Inside our callback?
Yes, let's see if that's the case. Maybe
I feel the pain.
I feel the pain as well, but let's see what happens. So here what we can say is basically saying something like
Client.send. For this reason, I was
client.
saying if we send the client back in the callback, we can probably, yes,
Ooh, now it's even worse because this is not an async context.
because your closure is not async.
Yeah. Okay, but there is a trick we can try. So we can do an async block, I guess. And client send, what do we send?
We
It
send
was
back
send message. Send message. We send, yeah, that. Exactly that.
our send message is dumb. It's not doing that formatting inside. It's just sending everything you provide him, right?
Good point.
In theory, we should send a private message, and do the formatting on our code here inside. I mean, or
Yeah, good
not.
point. Yes.
So move the format inside the function. Don't do that. Yeah, but take obviously we have to change a couple of parameters.
So we want to send a message text and then all of this priv message, and rather than hi, we send just whatever, right?
Yes, whatever, and only the first
So this
is the
is the
channel,
channel, and this is the
the self channel. M user channel is not self channel,
yes, fair enough. And
and
this
that
is
one is
gonna
the
be
message from MSG.
MSG. Okay, that makes it happy. And here we didn't send anything, so here we can just send format of I don't know, hello, and here we can say
In
m
M we have
dot
user
user dot name canonical nick, no, nick.
nick. Canonical nick is too long.
And then we need to do a string. No, doesn't like it. Expected unit type. And this cannot borrow client as mutable, and this is what we were expecting.
Yeah,
More
this
than
is
one.
exactly what we were expecting, because yes, can you can your closure accept a reference to the client, a mutable reference to the client, and then when we call, we also pass the reference to the client, and so we don't use client dot, but we use whatever they passed as in dot. Is it going to work?
I don't think so. I think it's the same problem, that then you cannot create multiple closures that borrow the same client mutably more than once. I think this is something we can only solve with a mutex or something like that.
So the problem is that if there are 20 functions that want to send a message in the same moment, they should lock the client one at a time to avoid to send the message all together.
I think so.
So we need a mutex around all of this.
Now, how do we structure that in a way that is ergonomic? Is probably an exercise for next time.
Yeah, okay. So we arrived here. We know that we have this problem. It was working, it was getting the messages. Now the problem is sending something out. Okay. So let's wrap it up here.
So
for
I'm
today.
gonna just to leave it in a slightly clean state. I'm
You
just gonna
print
comment
and
this one
comment,
out, and
yeah,
we
and
can
you will.
say to do the code below does not work because we end up
borrowing a lot of
borrowing
borrowing.
mutably more than once, we probably need a mutex.
Or we spawn a new client.
But if we spawn
No.
a new client, we lose the connection, right?
No, we create another connection. You're not
Yeah,
limited
of
to one
course.
connection.
1 million connection.
1 million connection.
Okay, we left this code committed in the repo as usual. I think there is a branch that we were working on, so probably we'll continue on that branch.
Okay, but well, it's good progress today. So let's wrap up. You can find the recording on YouTube. The link is on Twitch in the About session. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do live streaming on Twitch every Monday, 6 p.m. Dublin time. Make sure to check the Twitch link in the YouTube description. Give us a follow so that you can be notified. Feel free to leave us comments and open PRs and teach us something. Everything is well accepted. We are trying to learn Rust, so don't expect our solution to be the cleanest one or more idiomatic ones. If you know better ways of doing stuff, let us know. Thank you for all the collaboration in the chat. And are we raiding somebody?
Ooh, I didn't check. Maybe. Let's try. Yes, let's raid Luke, game development. It's probably building something in Go. So have fun, guys. Bye.
Bye.